Good morning and welcome to Coffee Club. My name is Abby Smith. I'm running for mayor of Kokomo, and this is a weekly video series where I answer a personal and a policy question, and we have coffee. So the personal question this week, it's kind of an awkward one to answer, but when I thought about it, I think I figured out what my best quality is. So that's what they asked, what's your best quality? And when I really took a hard look at things and figured out, what have been the times when I've been most proud of work that I've done. And it really has been a result of what started with listening. So I think listening is an underrated quality, especially if you're listening with intent to move forward and intent to kind of match make. So one of the things that I've been able to do over my career in social services is really listen to what people are looking for, what they're trying to accomplish, and what they need, and also what they have available, and put all of those pieces together, get them in the same room with the person who has the opposite of that, and then watch those connections happen and help them make forward motion. So I think the key in that is not just the ability to listen, but the ability to listen and convert that to action, really bringing people together to make things happen for a community or for a company or for a nonprofit or for a city. So listening converted to action, I think, is my best quality. The policy question is, it's a good one. So it's, what would you do first? So I think sometimes people think of that in terms of what do the first 30 days look like of a Smith administration, or but I think what they really mean is, what are your priorities? So my first priority is hire public safety personnel. I think that we need them. I go into much more specifics in my platform on that, but the reason that that's first is I think they really lay the foundation for a lot of the rest of my plan. A much more comprehensive public safety plan than just simply hiring public safety personnel. Really, they interact, they're kind of the face of the city. They interact with the most people on a day-to-day basis, and certainly some of the most vulnerable people in our community. So when we really look for a leverage point for a city on where can we make the biggest difference, I think that comes in laying a really good foundation with public safety personnel, giving them all of the tools that they need to do their jobs, but we really need to have enough of them. I don't think we do right now, and so hiring more public safety personnel is a top priority, one of the things I would do first. The second thing is launch a work-based learning task force. So I've talked a lot about workforce development and job training for adults throughout this campaign. I do truly believe that is what we need right now as a community to make sure that we are not only prepared for the jobs of today with, in the next 2 to 3 years, 50% of our workforce eligible to retire, but also we're prepared for the jobs of tomorrow. We are facing very real advancements in technology and automation. I want to make sure that the people who live in Kokomo are ready to pivot when things change, and that they are ready to do the jobs of tomorrow. So immediately launching that task force. There are a lot of people working in job training programs or workforce development, but again, bringing all of those together and listening to different players and then converting that to action is what I think is really missing. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing has to do with roads. So we've talked a lot about roads in this campaign. People feel very passionately about our roads. And I think what I would like to do in the very first thing is just to get a benchmark of where we are. So I do think we need to focus on resurfacing and repairing our roads. Let's try to get ahead of that so that we don't have to fill so many potholes and repair so much damage in the early spring. But if we can just simply get a benchmark as to where we are, how old are the roads, what's the current status of those, and then also set 4-year goals with quarterly benchmarks all along the way. I think you can't wait till the end to see if you were successful. You have to make sure that you're measuring along the way and then making adjustments in whatever tactics you're using. So getting that baseline, commissioning a report on the status of the roads would be one of the first things that I do. So those are the three priorities. I think that's really the question when people ask, what do the first 30 days look like? I've actually come in as the chief staff 2 different times before, and so I have experience coming in and kind of assessing staffing and connecting with people, building relationships, and trying to transition from the person who came before to what it's like to work with me. So that is something that I do have experience with. And so all of the things that come along with that and getting to know people and turning an organization, I think that's pretty much standard for a job like this. And the good news is I have experience doing that. So I think, again, the first 30 days we can just assume that the relationship building and assessment, those things are going to happen because anyone in an executive role coming in would do those things as I have. But I think when people are really asking is the first 30 days, what do those look like? For me, hire more public safety personnel, launch the work-based learning task force, and then get a benchmark baseline assessment of roads. So all of that really, getting to those first three things is kind of an example of the listening. I've talked to over 13,000 people now. I've walked over 215 miles, and everything that I just said has come from listening to what people need, what the community needs, what the people want, and then converting that into action. So this is what I do. It's what I'm good at. I'm really proud of the work that I've been able to do, and I can't wait to do it as your next mayor. Early voting has started, so get out there and vote. If you need any information on early vote centers, we have it on social media and on our website. I hope that you will vote soon, and I will see you next week. Cheers.